Hey there gamers! Cover Fire here again, and right now I'm playing D3 Reaper of Souls. So stay a while and listen. So for today I have my Barbarian class here, so I'm gonna provide you the build, simple build and gameplay for this one, and I call this build the Barbarian Assassin. So I'll tell you why and I'll show you why later. So for now, just like to say hello to the Filipino gaming community and also to the new and existing players of the SEA region. So for this build, I'm using the Savagery build. So I'm using a 5-piece of the Horde of the 90 Savages. So 5-piece, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I'm still getting the 6-piece bonus though. So I'm gonna explain that as well. So for 2, we get double the effectiveness of shouts and also deal damage to crowd control such as spirit frozen or stun enemies. Then 4, each frenzy stack reduces the damage taken by 6%, so maximum stack by default is 5, so multiplying that to 5, that would be 30, so maximum 30% damage reduction. And then for 6, deals 1000% increased damage per stack of frenzy, so that's really good. So like 5000% if you're using it by default. And then for our skills, so I'm using Battle Rage, Bloodshed. So Battle Rage increases your damage by 10% and also your crit chance by 3% for 2 minutes. The Rune Bloodshed deal damage 20% of your recent critical hits to enemies within 20 yards every 1 second, so like a passive AoE. And then next, Warcry, it's a shout skill as well. So basically you do a rallying cry, you provide buff to you to yourself and your allies, provides 20% armor within 100 yards for 2 minutes. Also additionally, for Impunity Rune, you get 20% elemental resistance. Then next skill is Threatening Shout. So shout skill, so when you perform this shout, you reduce the damage done by your enemies within 25 yards by 20% for 15 seconds. And then Terrify, as the rune itself, basically you feared an enemy, you have a 100% chance to fear an enemy for 3 seconds. You could use this skill, it's to disperse a mob. If you're grouped up and you're unable to move, you can disperse them using Threatening Shout. Then Frenzy. So Frenzy, each attack of Frenzy gives 220% weapon damage and also increases 15% attack speed for 4 seconds for each stack of Frenzy, stacking up to 5 times. Then for this one, I'm using Sidearm. It's a cold rune, changes the element to ice, and each it has 300% weapon damage. It would throw an axe, and for that to happen, it has a 25% chance. Then next is Avalanche. So I'm gonna straight ahead with Glacier, the rune, because it's the same. It provides 2400% weapon damage as dropping rocks, but in this case dropping ice, and hitting enemies with cold damage. Also freezes them. Then last skill is Wrath of the Berserker. Entering or transforming to Wrath of the Berserker gives you increase in crit chance, attack speed, dash chance, and movement speed for 20 seconds. For the rune, Ariet's Whale, activating the Wrath of the Berserker generates a 3400% weapon damage as fire within 15 yards. Okay, for our passive, I have Brawler. So this is a melee class character. 3 enemies within 12 yards, all of your damage is increased by 20%. So basically that's a no-brainer. And then Berserker Rage, you deal 25% additional damage while near maximum fury. If you notice our skills earlier, the fury spending skills we have here is Avalanche, but only used up a small amount of fury, so it's not gonna consume everything here on this gauge. So most of the time this gauge would be full. So getting that passive, which is the Berserker Rage, additional 25% damage, is great. Then Ruthless for faster killing time, so 40% additional damage to enemies below 30% health. So why faster killing time? Because of Rampage. Increasing strength by 1% for 8 seconds after killing or assisting in killing an enemy. So it stacks up to 25 times, so that equals to 25% of your total strength here. So here in this stats here, it will increase when you have Rampage stacks over here. Now, so you have the skills and the passive. Now for our supplemental items. First, the amulet and the ring. I'm gonna discuss this in unison because this is a set item, while this is the Traveler's Pledge and Compass Rose. So while moving, damage taken is reduced by 50%. While standing still, damage dealt is increased by 100%. So if you notice, we're not moving in here, we're getting 100% damage. If we move, that damage reduces and goes to up to 50% damage reduction. So that's how it works. So you're a melee character, that's given, you move, then you stop, then you attack. Then for our wrist, we have Mortix Brace. A Wrath of the Berserker gains the effect of every rune. So we have Ariat's Will, you know that. So we have Insanity, increased damage while active. Then Slaughter, critical hits have a chance to explode, causing 300% weapon damage in 15 yards. Striding Giant reduces your damage by 50. Then Tribon Chaos, whenever you use a Fury spending skill, you heal up your life. Then our next item here would be the belt. That would be the Undisputed Champion. Frenzy gains the effect of every rune and deals additional 396% damage. So technically it's up to 400, but this is the item roll that I have right now, so I'll just make use of it. So for Frenzy, then again we have Sidearm, Berserk, additional Fury generation to 6, Vanguard, 5% movement speed for each stack of Frenzy, Smite, 30% chance to call down a lightning and stun the enemy for 1.5 seconds, and then Maniac, increased damage by 2.5%. So that's all activated, but as a default, I'm using Sidearm as my rune for that cold damage and animation. So there we have it. And now for our weapon, I'm using Oathkeeper. So primary skills attack 50% faster, that's Frenzy, and deals additional increased damage. And then also our next weapon here, Rhymeheart, 20% chance to instantly deal 10,000% of weapon damage as cold that are frozen. So as you could notice, frozen enemies we get double damage, plus we get 10,000% damage in here. So if we double them up and get a crit, so that's like 20,000% weapon damage. Plus if we use Avalanche to freeze them, so that would be nice as well. We get that chance to deal 10,000 or 20,000% of damage using this skill. And also, if you reroll or if you have a good roll on your items, let's say you change that 2.2% chance to stun on hit and change it to freeze, so that would be really good. You have an increased chance of getting the 10,000% or 20,000% weapon damage, doubling up the damage in here. So that's good as well. Plus, if you have a socket as well as a better roll, as you can see, I don't have a socket, so this is like a worse item that I have here. But this is my current item. I haven't farmed up and got something better, so I'll just make use of this. Okay, so you have the supplemental items, the weapons. Now for our cube. So for our cube, I'm using Bastion's Revered. Frenzy now stacks up to 10 times. So remember, 5 times is 5,000% in here. So 10 is like 10,000%. And then 6 times 5 is 30. So technically, we'll be getting a 60% damage reduction if we have Bastion's Revered. Plus, it adds up to a passive AoE as well. Additional hit will chain to any enemies within 15 yards. So, as what you can see, a passive AoE here and also here on Battle Rage. Then, we don't have a Fury spending skill that consume a lot of gauge on our Fury gauge. So, this would be full and this would be active all of the same time. Above 90% primary resource, all damage taken is reduced by 50%. Then Ring of Royal Grandeur. So as you noticed, I have 5 set items here, but I'm still getting the set bonus because of the Ring of Royal Grandeur. Reduces the number of items required for set items. So what I use on the pants is benefiting the Frenzy skill again. Primary skills that generates resource deals additional 99% damage. So that's the Depth Diggers. Okay, now for our gems, I'm just using all diamonds for the head for cooldown reduction 12.5%, and for the armor and pants, flawless diamonds for elemental resistance. Since we're a strength based character, we increases the armor, but intelligence is the one that increases the resistance. So we have a low resistance score here. We use the sockets, the gems to enhance our resistance for survivability. And for the amulet, I'm using Bane of the Powerful, increased 20% damage after killing an elite pack, and a permanent 15% damage increase and damage reduction against elites. And Bane of the Stricken, also each stack of Bane of the Stricken increases the damage by 1.50%. So every time you attack an enemy, one attack 1.50%, another attack another 1.50%. Plus you get 25% increased damage to bosses and Rift Guardians. And also for our ring, as what I'm using here, this is the Oculus. So every time you kill a monster, you get a chance to pop a circle in the ground, and that circle, if you go inside that, engage the enemy in there, you get 85% damage increase. Okay. Alright, so there you have it. We have the skill, the passive, the weapons, the set item, and the legendary. So one last legendary gem that we're using here is the Simplicity Strength, level 67. So all primary skills will now have 58.50% damage increase. This can still be level up, still level 67, like all legendary gems. And Also, using a primary ability will also heal you for 4% of your maximum HP, 4% of our 1 million HP in here every time we use Frenzy. Okay, so that covers everything up. Now for the gameplay on basically showing you guys how effective is the build. Is it really viable for greater rift pushing? It is, because of the high DPS. So, and also, as you can see here, I was able to reach GR 100 using my Necro. So, for now, I'm still trying to aim up higher, but for this character, since we have just enough roll for GR 90, so we're gonna engage to that. So, let's go ahead and do this.
I wish you luck.
So kinda reminds me like an assassin in Ragnarok, like doing a sonic blow.
I will not be denied.
Okay. So we're getting a lot of proc on the sidearm and also on the stun for that thunder. So we have 25 rampage, we have 9800 strength. Rampage, it's a good passive. Please do not forget to use that.
You wilt against my blow.
So don't forget to get inside the circle if it's near an enemy. Give you an additional damage buff.
Ready yet? The ancient spire still recharging.
So I think we were able to hit that 10,000, 20,000% of cold damage. I've seen a 1 trillion damage earlier.
Not ready yet.
There we go. Large chunk of DPS there.
You wilt against my blow.
some elites here.
All gold for me. Your flesh is weak. I am badly hurt.
We're here!
Need more time.
That's why I call this Barbarian Assassin.
I will not be denied. Still recharging. Need more time.
Okay,
The Rift Guardian.
here we go. Easy peasy, right, guys? So there you have it. This is
I
the
can't pick up
Barbarian
anything else.
Assassin build. Good for GR90, Horde of the 90 Savages set item, plus a bit of mixed using this information. Please improve your playstyle, and if you have questions about this build, leave a comment, give a like, or subscribe to this channel, please. You could also share this video if you want. So this is Cover Fire again, and have a good one.